When and where did you find the skeleton?
Well, it was in my classroom basically when I moved from the 8th grade down to the 7th grade, which had been 1972. That's the skeleton was in there, and it was in a metal closet. Mm-hmm. Now that skeleton, I don't know how long it had been there, but it was there when it was Germantown High School, mm-hmm. which, was previous to Valley View. So it could have been there, 50 to 75 years before I even started teaching. There's no way of really knowing how old it is.
Yeah.
Do you know who had the skeleton before you?
Well, the teacher that was there, I believe 2 years before I started teaching 7th grade, his name was David Crockett. Just like, if you ever heard of the Davy Crockett from the Wild Frontier, but his name was David Crockett, and he left after my first year of teaching. I think he was from Oregon. I think he went back to Oregon. But he had it then, and before him, I don't know who taught 7th grade science before that, but when they moved out to the high school building in it would have been the spring of 1970 is when they moved into the high school out in the country. And it was left there. They might have gotten a new one, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But that skeleton was left there at the middle school.
Okay. Did you ever contact anyone about the skeleton to ask questions of where it came from?
No, there's no way of knowing. I learned in college that it used to be legal. It's no longer legal. But it used to be legal many, many years ago. Most of the skeletons that you see in universities and in schools, in doctors' offices, they come from India. So they're actually Indian people, not American Indians, of course. But it used to be legal where the people were sometimes very poor. These companies would actually contact people. They would pay them for their bodies while they were still alive. And then when they died, they had the money to live on while they were alive. Then when they died, the company would claim the body. They wouldn't have a funeral or anything like that. Most people in India are cremated anyway. You know what that means? Mm-hmm. Okay? They aren't buried. There's not enough room. So that used to be legal, but it's no longer legal. So it's a real good chance it is an Indian or somebody from India originally. And if you look at if you can, hold it up, it had a little hook on the top. I assume it's still there. And you put it on the floor with its heels on the floor. It was around 5'2", 5'3", somewhere in that range right there. And Indian men and women are shorter than Americans. And so I always thought it was a male, but that would be about the average height of an adult male in India. But it could have been a woman too, so it's hard to tell.
I read an article about the illegal Indian bone trade. So you think it could be really possible that the skeleton is from there?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from India, but I don't think it was illegal. No. It used to be legal. Now it's illegal, so maybe that's what you read about.
Yeah. Did you ever study the skeleton, look at it,
Oh yeah, I used to teach all about it to my students. I taught a lot of health. We did a lot of human body study. So yeah, we studied the bones and all that, and we used it quite a bit. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever find anything interesting about it?
Well, it got to be in pretty bad shape. I don't know what shape it's in now, but one of the legs was off of it. I don't know if she's reattached that or not.
Yeah,
it was still there, but I had to rewire and all that. Mm-hmm. Somebody busted out the front teeth. If you notice, they're all busted out. one of the ribs, a couple of the ribs had cracks in them. But
them
that wasn't when we got it. It wasn't like that. It's happened probably since we've had it at school. So.
Yeah, you can tell it's like been rewired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried rewiring some of the parts. I was missing a finger. I think it was missing an index finger too. I don't know if we still have that or not.
I think she replaced it with something because we have all 5 fingers there.
Okay.
And in our project, we found that it's a female. We're pretty sure.
Yeah, even Miss Weaver agreed with us.
Yeah, our whole class has found that it's a female, but we're not 100% sure.
If you look at the pelvic region, that's where a baby's head would have to fit through. All right, and my fist is that big. That fills up that entire space.
Oh, really?
Right there.
Huh.
And that's not real large.
Yeah.
Okay? So, is a baby's head smaller than my fist?
Sometimes.
Okay. So it could be.
Sometimes not.
But there's no way to tell them by the ribs. Men and women have the same number of ribs. The old thing where they took Adam's rib to make Eve. Well, okay. For Adam and Eve, it might have been different, but not for everybody else. They all have the same number of ribs. So I'm not sure how you tell by the ribs. But I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how you tell whether it's a male or female from just the skeleton right now.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out the diet.
Yeah.
How old it was, which we found like kind of an age range.
Yeah.
It was like 16 to
20.
It was because it has its wisdom teeth.
Yeah. But we don't know for sure if that's
Yeah.
what it is.
But we know it's not like super young and not super old.
Yeah. And we got the height and everything, and by our lead investigators.
You say it does have the wisdom teeth? Well, then it's got to be at least 20, 18 to 20. Well, I was thinking as an adult, I would guess it probably 45 to 65 would be a better guess. I would think for the age. It wouldn't be young.
There's like holes in the teeth too. That looks like cavities were there, kind of.
It's possible. Yeah, could be.
Do you have?
They didn't have much. They don't do much dental stuff in India, so.
Do you have any idea about how we could find the diet of it, or? Yeah.
There's no way to know where it came from or what their real name was. Or we always just called him Henry, but that was just what the teacher before me called it. There's no way of knowing what the real name was. We just call him Henry the Skeleton. But.
Is there anything you want to add, or?
Well, I thought there was another question on there about did you ever use it for parties or something? Yes, teachers have borrowed it and used it, decorated it for Halloween and hung in their classroom and different stuff like that. I even borrowed it one time for a hayride. We hung it in a tree out in the woods. But other than that, I was usually trying to be pretty protective of it. Didn't let too many people borrow it.
Yeah.
And I made sure they took pretty good care of it. But it got pretty banged up over the years.
Yeah,
so it's a good possibility. It's been in the school.
100 years.
It could be. I mean, I would think easily could be 70 years or more.
We have, I actually contacted the company.
Oh.
And I was asking them questions, and they were telling me, we don't sell bones, real human
Not
bones.
anymore.
Yeah. And I was just contacting them, and because we looked at the label on it, and I just contacted them, and they said the reason they stopped is because of all the illegal stuff coming from it. And
Do you remember what the company was?
It's in Chicago.
Yeah, it's in Chicago.
Okay.
I know
there's a lot. I don't know if Miss Weaver gets all the catalogs like I used to. I used to get 8 and 10 science catalogs every year. They want you to order stuff and buy stuff. But there's a whole bunch of different companies. I didn't.
I mean, it could have came from India and then was shipped to Chicago to be
right.
sold.
Yeah,
but we just found that the company that has
Right.
Having
They're
it.
just the,
Yeah.
they probably, cleaned it and put, if you look close at the bones, you'll see there's painting on it
Yeah.
where like muscle attachments and
Yeah.
ligaments and tendons.
There's
and,
like
and all
stuff
that kind of
written
stuff.
on it
Yeah, right.
about the different
Right.
bones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah, it's pretty special because you can't buy a real one anymore.
yeah.
They're all synthetic.
It's really fragile too. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
the toes are like
Right.
all on top of each other.
right. Well, they were all wired,
Yeah.
and so over the years they've gotten bent and bumped and all kinds of stuff. So
Well, that's it. Thank
okay,
you.
you're welcome.